Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is going to be another tropical update. I'm sorry that it's posted late. I forgot to make a video, but I promised I would keep up with my 24-hour slash daily upload schedule. So anyway, let's get started. But before I do, this is only going to focus on the Western Pacific because there's been so many areas popping up on the National Hurricane Center website, and I do not think most of them will form. And I want to give you guys the most accurate material. And also, it's been so uncertain lately in the Atlantic, even more uncertain, and I don't want to give you guys uncertain info. And also, I haven't talked about the Western Pacific in a while, so we're going to be focusing only on the Western Pacific today. I'm sorry that most of you are in the Atlantic, but I promise I'll talk about the Atlantic again tomorrow, and I might also talk about the Western Pacific. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. So nothing in the Indian Ocean, but we do have Invest 90W, which has a 30 to 31 degrees Celsius waters is what it's going to be in. Very warm, and the 5 to 10 knot wind shear, very low. 1,006 millibars, 20 to 25 knots, and it is located near 22.5 degrees north, 150.1 degrees east. Partial pass reveals a swath of 20 to 25 knot winds to the east of the open wave. And maximum sustained surface winds are estimated to be at 20 to 25 knots. Anyway, let's X out of these. I want to show you guys. We're not doing that today. But like I said, there has been stuff popping up in the Atlantic, and they are designated as Invest, but they are way too uncertain recently, especially today, and I want to give you guys the most accurate info. So let's start with Invest 90W, which is shown going towards Japan. Or a lot of them show it very strong going near Korea. And GFS shows it hitting Japan. And pretty good circulation on it. 98W, for some reason, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center does not acknowledge its existence. Maybe, but I'm pretty sure it is kind of died. Anyway, let's go to the Western Pacific. So we do see Invest 90W. I'm pretty sure that's what. Yep, that's Invest 90W. And what GFS does is it heads towards Japan and it dies off. So as you can see, and then the GFS has been very consistent in another low forming in around 4 to 5 days. Now this is not Invest 90W. It's not Invest 98W. This is none of the current Invest. And the Joint Typhoon Warning Center hasn't mentioned this yet, but it's very consistent in models, a completely new low. It stalls and it gets pretty strong down to 923 at 922. And then it starts going up north. It hits South Korea, slams it actually. It's in North Korea. Yesterday in my short tropical update, I told you guys I don't think it's going to hit Korea, but it's been a little more consistent now. And of course, they pretty much never get systems that strong. Let's go to, and we go to hour 240, where we do see that ECMWF does show something as well, though they do not show it hitting any land. I personally do think this will hit land. And if we go to the Canadian model, hour 240s, get to the end of it, and they don't really show anything except a little bit of a low, but that does in fact hit Japan. If we go back to the GFS, nope, I did not want to do that. So, oops. Anyway, moving on. If we go back to the GFS, we are going to go to the 10-meter sustained winds, and let's see if I can get a closer region. Hopefully I can. It seems I cannot. Oh, yes, I can. East Asia. Okay, that's good. Anyway, much more zoomed in view. That is amazing. So I'm just going to show you the MSLP again, more close in. So it turns out it's actually, still 922, and then it gets in South Korea, moves up North Korea. 10M winds. We do see, got pretty strong, very big wind field. Now, this seems very strong, and even the Western Pacific doesn't see these too often, but they do see it a lot of times a year. Well-defined eye there, I would say that's around a Category 4 hurricane equivalent, super typhoon potentially. Though, as of right now, this is just a fantasy system. Though, I have to show it to you guys because, of course, affect the land, and it's been very consistent in the models. So it goes up north, and Korea gets a lot because it does not have as much land friction. And of course, it goes up north, and then eventually it goes into China. If we go to the 850 MB winds, we do see, let's go back up a bit. We do see very big wind gust field because that's what it uses for. Even Japan gets affected, and it would be very bad. If we go to the 24-hour accumulated precip, because of course this is the best parameter, and what I believe, because it gives you a good idea of how the hurricane's moving and how much rainfall you're gonna get each day. Total precipitation is not going to be able to use right now because it is too far out. While the perimeter is available, there's going to be a lot of rain before it, and I do not believe it. Also, most National Weather Service offices, which is what I trust a lot, they do use 24-hour precipitation most, and so do the Weather Prediction Center for their each day QPF forecasts, or aka rain forecasts. So this is what I believe the most accurate rain parameter is, even if it's close up. Even if it's, like, really close. Anyway, guys, moving on from that. So 24-hour accumulated precip, every 25 millimeters is 1 inch. Anyway, so we do see these islands get a lot of rain, around, I would say, over 10 inches per day. And then as it heads towards Korea, we do see a lot of that rain. That would lead to a lot of flooding. And if you're wondering, we do see that cold front come through. And then something starts to form above the system. It gets pulled. And there's a lot of rain before it hits too. But of course, you see all that rain before the system, which is already bad enough. And that's still part of the system. It's just like a big outer band forms. That usually has that effect when it heads towards this region. But of course, we still have the bulk of the rain in the center, as you can see there. And oops, either way, all this rain is part of the tropical system, including that is something that comes before it. But of course, as it's coming through, we already see this other rain ahead of the cyclone starting to form. And yeah, lots of rain. And if we look at the significant wave height, very high waves too. I'm not going to show parameters for the other models because they don't hit land, and or they are not strong enough for it to be worse to show you the parameters. I want to make the most worst out of you guys' time. Moving on, let's go to the ensembles, and no one easier way to do this. We are going to go to the GFS SpaghettiOs, but we're going to change the region to the wrong second. Sorry. Western Pacific. And got okay, just wait for the ensembles to load, everyone. Please stay with me here. Anyway, so we do see huge ensemble support for this, and many of them do show hitting land, like Japan, China, Korea. The EPS cyclones, let's gotta go to 12Z. Do not show as much support, but of course the support is still there for a potential cyclone as we go later. Many of them do show it hitting Japan and Korea. We go back here, we're going to go back to the 850 MB, and we're going to change the region to the Western Pacific to see an average of what the ensembles sink. Sorry that these are taking a bit to load, but yeah, we do see nothing real, no cyclones right now, but we do see this big system, 126 per hour gusts, and it goes into Korea. the EPS version of this, which we're going to have to go back to 12Z. Well, it spoiled it for us, so that's not good. It's having a tantrum, so we're going to go this way. Sorry about that. Sorry that it's taking a bit to load. There we go, guys. I'm sorry that was taking a bit to load. I'm so sorry. I'm trying the best for you guys, but sometimes the internet can be very slow. Let's go to 12Z, and it is loading. Hopefully you guys went through that with me. I'm sorry about that, guys, but anyway. We do see that mainly goes out to sea. Next, we'll go to the special charts. Like, this will be the last thing we do. Cyclone maps will show the ECMWF, which does show something go out to sea. GFS. GFS definitely shows something pretty strong. KMA. Show something pretty strong. Actually, I'm going to show you guys a KMA. Because, and also that's all for this special. Let's go to the Korea KMA if I can find it. And, let's go to the Western Pacific. And we're going to go to 850 MB wind. So as we go, yep, we do see a huge system. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for any technical difficulties, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Have a great night.